Okay. What age did I learn chess? I guess I learned around when I was basic learning. I did it when I was in probably third standard or fourth standard. Okay, that is when I basically learned. I think yeah, I think third standard. And however, I never further improved. I think I remained at level one till I went to 12th standard. Okay, I remained at a level one only because I used to play very rarely and not very this. So only from my 13th year in college, which is like first year of college in engineering, that is when I started improving actually. Till that point of time, I was at a thing. So you guys are far ahead of me with age wise. Okay. All right. So I think we have about 8, 9 people. Some more will join. I'm sure they are probably finishing their games. So uh, yeah, I think we'll start our study. See, so the topic of the study is continuation. Last time we just learned what are the signs on the board which tell you that there may be a tactic around, right? We looked at whenever an opponent has a forcing move. And what is a forcing move? Capture, check, or a threat of mate, right? Either your opponent has it or you have it. In both cases there are chances that there is some tactic involved. So at a first level you should just check by the next move whether opponent has got any of these threats. If that is the case, then you have to think about more. Similarly, if on your move, if you have any of these threats across all your moves, you can just do a quick scan, and then that will tell you whether you have to think more, right? If there are any tactics around. So now we will continue with that, and we will see now what are the typical tactics. Okay, so from the simplest tactics we'll keep going. So you can see the highlighted square, and I think white to move. Obviously, I think everyone knows this. It is a loose piece. I mean, when you are to move and you can take it, it is actually mutually loose pieces. Both the queens are attacking each other and they are not defended by anybody. But whoever is making the move, he is going to win it because white will capture the queen. Black to play, black will capture the queen, right? So that is very simple. That is loose pieces, right? Anything which is lying around loose, and this is what you would have learned it in the capture pieces one puzzles, trying to win uh, any a loose piece, right? So your eyesight by now should be very trained to immediately spot if there is anything undefended. Loose means completely not defended, zero defense. Okay. Now, so far so good. Okay. I guess it is simple, right? Okay. Now we will go to the next one, which is not exactly undefended, but it is outnumbered, which means that the attacker is having more number of attacks than the defender. This in this case also, because you are having more attack than defense, you can again win it. And the example position is here, right? Here, white to play. White has got 3 attacks against the black knight. Black has got only 2 defenders, which means white to play can easily win the knight whichever way. Bishop can take the knight, right, and attack the queen, and if rook takes it, then again white will rook. If black rook takes it, then white rook will take it. If black queen will not take it, because again white queen will take it, right? So very simple. So in which case what is the this one? So you can simply win a piece here because it is outnumbered, right? So that is the just the logical, the second this one. Now we will go to the quick introduction to the fork. By now I think you know the fork, but here is the fork. The typical fork and best forking piece is knight. Okay, so in this position again, we will see white is to move, right? White is sorry, black is to move here, black to move, and you can see the position and you can very easily spot it, and it is marked by X also. So black knight will jump to e3 square, give a check to the white king, at the same time attack the white queen. So king will have to move and queen will be captured, right? That is a typical fork and typical knight fork. So this is called as a fork. I hope everybody understands what is a fork now, right? Fork is the same piece attacks 2 different squares or 2 different pieces at the same time. the same piece. Okay, here there is a black knight. From e3 it is going to attack two of white's pieces, and one of them it is going to capture. So that is a fork. Okay. Double attack is different, and I will come to double attack later on. Double attack is when you attack two different points, but due to two different pieces, not with the same piece, and that is called as double attack. Double attack typically happens with a discovery. Okay, so we'll see that. We'll see that. Don't worry. Okay. So far so good. Everyone got it? Any questions? Why only 10 people are there today? I think I'm expecting there were 15 people were playing across the tournaments, but only 9 people have joined. Something, maybe some games are still going on. Huh? Okay, we'll see. No problem. So, okay, so far so good. Okay, just tell me, give me feedback, or I can put unmute all of you. You want to say please raise hand or type in if you have any queries. Huh? I'm assuming everyone has got the fork. Okay, good. All right. So we will move on to the next one. We will move on to the next one, which is called as net, but it is net is also like a trap. Okay, in simple language we call it trapping, and there is a specific. It is also like you can see it as a net, like something is getting trapped in the net, right? That's why it is called also called as a net by some people. So if you see here position here, white to move. Okay, white to move. Uh, Even if you were to give a move to black actually, so white to move anyway can very easily capture the knight, but you turn the position around and say, okay, black, you move whatever you want in this position. Even then black will not be able to save the knight on d8. Why? Because the white bishop, and this pattern you have to keep in mind. Knight and bishop have opposing knight and bishop have got this pattern. When the bishop is in straight line with the knight, third square from the knight, the way it can control this v-shaped attack, right? So it takes away four squares from the knight. The front, I mean, in the side of the bishop, the four squares, the knight cannot actually come because the bishop attacks them. And while not being attacked by the knight, it sits pretty much safe, but it makes the knight very unsafe. So this pattern you should remember how to immobilize a knight. But so net result is black knight, we can say, is caught up in a net, and it does not have any safe square to move to, and it does not have enough defense. Okay, so it does not have enough defense, and even if it were to move, it is no use. It is going to still get captured. So that is the net. Okay, so net, or we call it as trap. This is the example. Okay, any question? Any questions? Okay, I'm going to mute all. I'm going to mute all, but I will allow you to unmute if you want. Okay, so you have got the idea of the net, which is the trap piece. Then let us move to the pin. Pin again, I hope all of you by now are completely very familiar. That was the first thing that we said, right? So pin and win. Okay, so in this position, black to play. Black to play. Where will the bishop move? Bishop will say, obviously try to move to c6 and pin the white queen against the white king. So queen cannot move, and queen is like queen will get captured against the bishop. At the most, queen can sacrifice itself for the bishop, but that's it. So bishop is worth 3 points, queen is worth 9 points. So obviously black will have 2 pawns left, right? So black will go and win this game because of the pin tactic. So pin, I will not spend much time. All of you already know. Now somebody was asking the when we were looking at the pin and what is a skewer. Okay, skewer is slightly similar to pin, but it's the opposition pieces are order is reversed. Okay, here it forces a high valued opponent piece to move and then captures the piece at the back of that. So here if the king is the highest valued piece of white and there is a rook, both of them are aligned on this diagonal, white diagonal, and black is to move in this position. So black in this position, if he puts the bishop on c6, it is not pinning the king. We will not say pin because king can move, right? And king has to move because the higher valued piece has to move. In the previous position, queen could not move because there was a higher valued king at the g2 position, and hence the queen got pinned. Okay, queen got pinned when bishop went to c6 here. But in this case here, bishop goes to c6, checks the king. King higher being higher valued has to move, and it cannot even defend the rook. Whichever way it moves, it will not be able to defend the move, and the bishop will simply take the rook at g2, right? So this, yeah, I mean, yeah, that was absolute pin. Previous example was absolute pin, and this is called as a skewer now. Okay, so this is skewer is very similar to, but reverse the position of the opponent's pieces. So that is a skewer. And now I guess you get it why it is called as a skewer. Like when you are doing barbecue, right? You have a skewer metal rod, and then what do? You take either a chicken or a vegetable or whatever it is, and you pierce through it. Take it, the rod again comes out, and again you can put one more through it, right? So that way it is the same thing. Like bishop is piercing through the king effectively and killing the rook here. So that is why it is called as a skewer. It can also be a rook can also skewer something and a queen can also skewer something, but a knight cannot skewer, just as a knight cannot pin, right? Knight can get pinned, but knight cannot pin anything because it does not follow in a straight path. It is jumping, right? Okay, so okay, any question? Any question before we move on to more types of tactics? Okay, all right. So let us move on to some other types of tactics. So yeah, so okay, the next type of tactic is called as actually undermining. Okay, and or it is called as tie by somebody. Some people call it as tie, and tie can be of two types: undermining or overloading. So undermining, we will see it first. Okay, in this position, it is white to move. Okay, you can see the white queen is facing the black queen. The white rook is facing the black rook. White queen is defending white rook, black queen is defending black rook. Looks okay, but white is to play, so white is winning this, and due to a tactic called as undermining, right? You got how white, it is already given there. First move, white will capture the queen, give a check to the king. King will capture the white queen back, but after that it is white to move, so white rook will take the black rook. Yeah, exactly, support is lost. Undermining. So after this first move, suddenly you find that the black rook is now defenseless. Before that it had defense, right? Before that it had defense, but now it has, after this move it has no defense, right? What if you try to reverse it? Reversing it will not work. If you simply take the rook first, black rook first, then queen will take that black queen will take the white rook, and then it will be an equal position, right? uh, so that is the so the order is very important when undermining. Now if you take the same position and if you say it is black to move, okay, then what happens? Then it is the black who wins it in this position, because black will do exactly the same thing. In fact, the white queen itself is undefended in this position, so it may not be a good example because black to move directly, free queen capture, it will be there. But assuming even if the white king was at e1, okay, supporting the white queen at d1, Even then, if the position was black to move, black would win it, because he will do the same thing, take the queen, and then black rook will take the defenseless white rook. Okay, so it is very important to, so these tactics are slightly, means you have to think, it doesn't pop up in your mind, it does not come automatically, so you have to get a good practice on this. Okay, and hence some puzzles in elementary chess tactics 1 will help you get these. Okay, we will see another example. We will see the next example from of ties called as overloading. Okay, that was undermining, and this is overloading. Overloading means you are giving too much work to one piece of defense and it is not able to do all the works. Okay, we will see what it means. You can see the highlighted this one. So this is the position and it is white to move in this position. Okay, white to move. White queen is actually attacked by the black rook. Yeah, you are right. Pranav is right. Because see, right now in this position, what we are saying is the queen, black queen. Because it is white to move, so black is at a defensive position and black queen is overloaded. It has to defend the c7 rook as well as the e8 square, not anything but e8 square, because the white rook is threatening to come there and give a checkmate. But it queen can only do at a, if it goes to c7 it cannot control e8. If it goes to e8 then it cannot control c7, right? So that is called as overloading. And in current position it is just controlling both. From d8 it is controlling both squares, but if white queen takes the black rook at c7, it is like a temporary sacrifice. Queen will have to take it, queen will go to c7 and then the white rook will come to e8 and it is a back rank checkmate, right? So this is called as overloading because the piece is not able to, you are giving it too much work to do or forcing it to do too much work and it cannot. Okay, so you got this overloading. Any questions, anybody? Good. Everyone is same. Okay, all right, good. Ahan, Om, Sadhana, all right, good. All right, cool. So we will go on to our survey of the other types of tactics. We will look at jumps. Jumps means it is discovery, okay, or unmasking an attack. Okay, so this is good to see that you have. Yeah, yeah,
in the last class, means
yeah.
when I was not in your class, they said on the rank of 5th rank or 4th rank, any A, B, C, D or E, F, G, H, any, you can take jumps.
You can take jumps. Okay, in which one? Last, what I gave in the position last class, is it?
No.
Huh?
When I was not in your class, my
Oh.
old chess class in summer.
Oh, okay.
Actually, I was champion there.
Okay.
After 2 years, I don't know anything.
Oh, okay. You have to keep playing.
That much time.
Yeah. It happens.
I just forgot all the tricks, double attack and all.
So that's why I'm revising all of them. So I hope you will be able to now remember. So yeah, but jumps can happen anywhere, not necessarily 4th or 5th rank. We'll see. There will be some examples of jumps. So we'll see. So thanks, Taru. And okay, so in this position now, see, it is black to move. Okay, black to move, and it is black is winning because of a discovered attack, or rather discovered check and a double attack. Yeah, knight f4, correct. Srushti, and it is marked as this one, so correct. Now what do we call this thing? Please remember, the check is called as a discovered check because the piece that is moving, knight is moving to f4, knight is not giving the check, some other piece is giving the check to the white king, which is the black queen. So the check is called as discovered check, but it is also a double attack, because after this move the knight is attacking the queen, white queen at g2, and the black queen is attacking the king at d2, right? So that is why, exactly. So now being a check given to the king, so first the check will have to be parried, and then only it can do anything. So by the time the white queen will be lost at g2, right? So this is the difference between a double attack and a fork. So this is not a fork, okay, because the knight is not forking, attacking two different pieces. Knight is attacking only one piece, but the queen is attacking another piece at the same move. So this is what is called as a double attack. Double attack is possible only via a discovery, okay. Any other type of double attack that you can think of will always become a fork, because it will be the same piece that is moving, that is attacking 2 points. Okay, so very important to understand these concepts, and then you will see much more examples. So actually a lot of these examples will be covered when you do this elementary chess tactics 1. So you will get a lot of this one, or chess tactics 2 also. If you want, you can do the preview puzzle, so you will find all of these examples. Plus I will also give some more examples to try out. So I hope you have understood now what is a jump or a discovery, right? All right, so I will move on to the next one, which is, so obviously checkmates are a type of tactic. Everybody understands that if you can, doesn't matter how much the thing, if you checkmate, then doesn't matter how much material is there, right? Material can be equal, or the opponent can be higher in material. Okay, so Rishita has started mate in 2. That is very nice. Actually, mate in 2 are good, interesting puzzles, and
I also started.
you have also started.
I'm
Excellent.
just going to finish the first one
Okay,
of
okay, great.
100. A pack of 100.
Okay, okay, that is very nice. Because see, you will see that the mate in 2 you have to think slightly more, because it is not the first one move, it is mate. So Rishita has done around 30. Very nice. Good. Ansh has also done. Okay, good. Started. All right. So Ansh has finished 100. Oh, that is excellent. Very good. Very good. And I hope you will realize that you are getting more insights as you do more mate in 2 puzzles, right? So yeah, that will brush up your knowledge like anything, and it will help you talk. Okay, so we'll see an example
I'm
here.
31, so now.
Okay, okay, very nice. Fine. So in this position, material is very equal, but black queen has already checkmated the white king, and it is possible because the white queen is blocking one escape square of the king, right? Because of that, normally you know that how the queen and the king made the opponent king. This is position is slightly different because the c2 square, escape square, otherwise would have been possible for the king, but it is blocked by its own queen, and this is a mate, right? So anyway, you should be able to spot mates, and for spotting mate, that mate in 1 and mate in 2 are the most important thing. So that's why I insist that you do all those puzzles and you complete it, because that is the only way that you will be able to spot the mates. Okay, so far so good. We'll go on to the last 2 examples. Okay, so decoy. I hope you know the meaning of decoy in English. Decoy and distraction are actually here. I don't have an example of distraction, but maybe next class I will show you. Decoy means take someone to somewhere where it is dangerous, or where. Okay, so decoy. So here in this position, you can see that black has already, black has a queen, white also has got a queen. What is this? Let me see. What is the, yeah, okay, okay, I got it, okay, okay, fine. So why is this a decoy? You will see it. Yeah, exactly, causing a piece to move to a dangerous square from where you will then capture it. Okay, so in this position, see, white queen is there, black queen is there. Black has an extra pawn which is about to queen, but that queening square is controlled by the white queen. Okay, so you think it is okay, but there is a special consideration why it is not okay. So first move, pawn will become a queen, give the check to the white king, at the same time attack. It's a double attack, or it's a fork, it is called as forking the white queen, but white queen will not sit quiet. So white queen will capture the pawn which had become a queen on b1. Okay, but now what happens? Now next move is black's. So black comes queen to g6 check. Okay, and this is a skewer at work. Okay, skewer, because the white queen is lined up directly behind the white king diagonally, and black queen is giving a check. No, I don't think so. Actually, others are finding it okay. So I don't think so, Rishita. Oh, Ahan. Okay, you are telling Ahan. All right. Maybe, yeah, possible. So yeah, so first move, b2 to b1 equal to queen and check. That is black's first move. White queen takes b1. Then black queen to g6 check. King moves, followed by black queen captures the white queen on b1, and then obviously should be able to mate, right? Yeah, we are going to continue playing in another 5 minutes, Ahan. Okay, you can reverse the method in which Abhinav is saying you can in this position. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. It is, yeah. What will happen is it is not as forceful. So if you have two queens and black has one queen, sorry, or black has two queens, white has one queen, it is not as winning as when you have one queen and the other side doesn't have anything. Okay, Abhinav, you will remember one position we had seen in our other class. I will show it, where one queen was able to continuously give infinite check to the other king. The other two queens, though opponent had two queens, they were of no use in a particular position, not always, but yeah. So that happens. So hence, in this position, queen g6 is not the best move. Best move is b1 equal to queen, because it forces the matters and forces you to go into a extremely winning, very easily winning king versus queen ending. Okay, so that is why it is, that is how it is. Okay, all right. Okay, so that being the case, so we will go to the other one, which is a actually this position clearance is a position that we had seen last week, but we didn't call it as clearance. We called it as a uh, we called it as a tactic when there is a capture around, but it is, the name is called as square clearance tactics. Okay, square clearance. What is happening is, you remember what was the position? Queen black to play here. Black queen takes the white knight. Okay, it's a sham sacrifice. It's a pseudo sacrifice, because the sacrifice lasts only for one move. White pawn will take the queen, but then the knight, black knight, will jump to e2 and fork the white queen and the white king. Yeah, right? So, so this is called as a square clearance, and why? Because the queen sacrificed itself only to give the that e2 square to the knight. Actually, if the queen was somewhere else here at b2, etc., then